Hi everyone who's already here. I hope everyone can hear me fine. If something is not working right, I got the chat in front of me on my phone, so I will see your messages. Also, if you have any suggestions, if I'm doing anything wrong in the process of what we're going to do. So let's tweet though first, right? I already had a pretty cool tweet. I'm going to see my emojis from that. Where did I have it? Oh, right here. So it's just that one. I like that one. All right. No option, just join me. Yeah, so I decided to limit this to an hour, so it's consumable, and also for me that's easier. This is going to be my first Twitch, so it's going to be interesting. I'm using music here from the Free Music Archive, so the reason why I'm doing that is I don't want the sound to be removed when the video is saved later, so whoever's watching this later can still see everything. We actually changed the light a little bit. Alright. So what we're going to do is we're going to implement a URL module that allows you from the client side to create a shortened Google URL. There are modules out there that do this for Node. None of them, though, that I find just allow you to do this on the client. I want basically a module where I can say, hey, here's a long URL, call me back with a short one. And it should work without a server. So why would I need something like that? Well, let's look at a module that I created a long time ago. Instructions. Hey, Bin Bang. Welcome to my feed. By the way, if you want to follow me while this is going on, I have little surprises for followers. Things will pop up. Hopefully that will work. Also, if you want to around here, you can donate some money and you will show up in around here when you donate. So basically I'm just trying to fund doing these kind of Twitch things and open source in general. So what is this? So instructions is basically this thing that I created a while ago that allows you to basically put anything in here in the message and it will show up in the page. It's kind of like, you know, you can create the page as you want. So I could say my instruction here and now change to my instruction. And the idea is that that I want to be able to send these as short URLs, right? And obviously what I could do, I could copy this, make a short URL, but what I want to do is I want to maybe put a button here that says, hey, copy this as a short URL, and then you can troll people. You can like put funny messages in there and just send it as a short URL. No one will know what it is until they click on it. So that's funnier. So okay, so that's basically the reason, one reason why I want to do this. Obviously there are other reasons. By the way, I got my hacker juice. Anyhow, so let's get started. So what did I do so far? I kind of researched this a little bit. So there is a API for this that explains a little bit how the shortener URL works. And I already created an application for GAPI. So basically, if you have to create like a key. So just for this app, I created a key. You can do up to 1 million requests a day. So I think that will be fine that we're actually exposing the key everywhere. No one will max out our app. We can actually test this with curl. So I'm make sure this works. So I'm just going to show this again. I have a little test script here. So basically what we do, we give it our API key and we just curl to this URL and we send a payload here that says, hey, here's my long URL. Please give me the short URL. So let's execute that real quick just to show how this works. All right, And no, okay, that took a while. Scared me for a second, but so basically now we have here, it gave us the short URL. And the cool thing is that this never changes. So Google is basically keeping this. So see, it went to our repo. Google is somehow, it's kind of like a database, right? If you actually do this for just your username, you will end up kind of seeing a list of this. However, this is for an app, and the list basically you have to authenticate. So this list thing here, you have to actually authenticate yourself. We're going to leave that out for now. We're just going to make this for apps. And then what did I want to show? Okay, here's the getting started guide and whatever. Pretty interesting stuff. So the thing is, I wanted to make this fully client-side. So I already started writing some code, but mainly the code is what I got from a JS Fiddle. So here's my JS Fiddle. By the way, if everyone's watching, I'm streaming this from beautiful Colombia, Medellin. So also, if you hear a little bit outside some motorcycles, that's part of living in Medellin. So I apologize in advance. So here we have, obviously this doesn't work right now because the API key was used up. We have to put, we actually would have to put an API key. This is like for unauthenticated use. But basically I took this one here, kind of, at least a part of it, and I put it here. What it does, it kind of logs, so I'm going to make this bigger actually. Well, bigger, not disappear. All right. So here we can see that it gets the response and then it uses jQuery to just print it here. But obviously that's not something that we want to use exactly that way. One thing I noticed was that it had an external resource. And the external resource was this client.js that Google provides. And it's basically this minified magic file where we don't know what it is. But what we basically want to do is we need to somehow get this client.js loaded. And obviously we don't want our users to have to put this in a script tag. This library should be like just working. Like you just require it and you bundle it with Browserify or Webpack or Rollup, whatever you like, and then it should just work, right? So that's basically the goal. So there's a module that I'm going to use. And that module is load API, load script or something like that. So basically I already installed that here, load script. So let's look at what that does. So this should open it in a second. Maybe for us, was right, my computer is now slow. But the other reason why the quality may not be that great, I'm streaming this on 1 Mbps upload. If you, by the way, can see something, let me know in the chat. Again, I have this here in my phone in front of me. You can't see it, but it's right here. So I can watch the chat that way. I only have one screen. So load script. So basically you just require load script. You basically give it URL and then you get called back. We don't need the ops at this point. We're not going to worry about that. Maybe, you know, if I'm doing this and you see, maybe I should put some ops there for certain reasons, which I'm not aware of, put that in the chat and we'll do that later. Thanks, Ben Bang. That's cool. So that's what I'm going to use, load script. So that's what I'm going to start with. So we're not even going to worry about this part yet. And I put a global GPI here because it appears, basically what we'll do, we load that client script and then it magically will appear globally, which is unfortunately how things still work sometimes. So let's write that part. So on the very top of our file, we require load script. Okay, and then we'll have a function that basically will init the API. And it will have a callback because this will happen asynchronously. And so what we'll do in there, we'll call load script and we give it this UI. So which UI is it? Well, this is a file that we found in the JS Fiddle, right? I found another, so we're going to use this one first. I found another link for API.js. I'm not entirely sure if this is your node version or something unrelated. So maybe increase font size. Okay, yeah, I can certainly do that. Let me know if this is better. Thank you, Chronopio. So let's see. So yeah, we load this URL, and we're not done yet. So first of all, we load the URL, right? And on loaded URL, or let's say on URL loaded, sounds nicer, right? Okay, cool, no problem. URL loaded. Decrease the resolution. Yeah, I actually am using the default resolution for the Mac here. What I did actually, I like to see things. I'm like a nerd with screen real estate. I love to have things side by side, but so I basically have all my browser at like 75%. Yeah, frame rate. I did reduce the frame rate for us, and then basically what happened when I would type, things would come kind of in batches. So I wanted basically to allow people to see me type, but maybe I'll just do that. Okay, actually we can try that right now. Maybe I can change it while we're streaming. So frame rate here. Oh, we can't do it while streaming. Okay, so I actually have it to 15, which is not like crazy high. Yeah, thanks for us. I will do that. Okay, so load the script, and when we have the script, we have, well, okay, we have to put the function here, right? Because we need access to the callback, right? On URL loaded, and already forgot, but I think what it gives us an error on the script. And then all we do right now, we just put an debugger statement here. We just want to see if it works. So the question is, how do we run this? So first of all, what we'll do, we call init by on, and for now we give it just an on-done method, and we implement on-done. By the way, notice that I'm not using any ESX stuff, or I'm trying to not to, because I want this to be, this is a generic library, so it won't be too big. I want it to be useful for everyone. So on-done, for now we just put nothing in here. All right, so how do we run this now, right? And there are multiple ways. We'll do one thing. I installed already a library called Budo. I will try to install it while we're going, and I hope this will not kill my internet too much, but it seems to be fine. So what is Budo? I have it over here. Well, I did. There it is. So Budo is this awesome library which just basically lets you kind of put stuff in the browser in a way. So you can just point it at the file. You don't have to create an HTML file. You just point it at the JavaScript file. And in this case, we'll use the live flag, and it will basically keep watching. It's kind of, it will browserify every time our file changes. It will browserify a new version and will update. So we'll do minus live. Obviously, what we want to do though, why would that not work if I wouldn't have it globally installed? Well, because it's not in my path. But we can create a script, and magically, let's call it start. And magically, npm will have the path added, right? So that will work perfectly. So what did I call my little module? GPI. All right. So, by the way, I'm using this weird plugin for Vim, which makes my JSON look like JavaScript. So you don't see the ugly codes. Only if I do this, then if you are interested in any of my setup, that is all on my GitHub. In my .files. So that's where you would go. And it's all my Vim setup, all my term setup, all the stuff there. So if you see anything, also ask me in the chat if you see anything that's interesting to you, and I will try to let you know. So okay, so now we can go over here. Okay, well actually we were already in there, in the second tab, and we will just do npm start, and then Budo just started running, and now it gives us this URL, and that's at localhost. So we'll open that localhost, and we'll have 9966. Well, not okay. Obviously I made a mistake there. Alright, now we're good. So we don't see anything. Well, yeah, because we are not printing anything. So we have to actually launch DevTools. And what I did here, so we just have DevTools in a separate window, because at this point really nothing is interesting at this point. So let's see, the live seems to have some problem. Okay, now it should be fine. Okay, wow, cool. we already hit our debugger statement, right? Also, I will make this bigger, so to be a little ahead of you guys. So we don't need that part for now. So we're on the debugger now, obviously. So our script loading kind of worked. Let's see if we had an error. Nope, we have no error, and we have a script. Okay, cool. Also, we should look if the script actually got loaded, and there it is. Okay, so that worked. And now let's see if we have the. We should now have the G API ready. So let's. This is really busy when you have. See, that's why I'm making everything smaller, by the way. Okay, so G API. Okay, so there's a load function on it and a loaded function. Okay, cool. So let's keep going with the gist for now. So the gist, what did it do then? Okay, so I have this awesome process running. Keeps my energy usage low. So okay, so what do they do here? So they actually call GPI client.load. Okay, and then they say load the URL shortener version 1. Okay, let's try that. One thing that has me a little worried, I didn't see a client on there. But let's try it anyways. So, and then we say on URL shortener loaded. Okay. And the thing is, we still need to be inside the scope of the callback. On URL shortener loaded. And we don't know what we get in here. So we just, again, just step by step, right? All right. So now, okay. Okay, so something happened here. Okay. So what I did is I had exceptions turned on, right? So basically it would pause on an exception. So let's pause on cause exceptions as well. So something went wrong here. It's kind of like what I already started seeing, that we didn't have a client. So it's saying cannot be properly load of undefined. Okay. I kind of expected that a little bit, because when I looked at that client, right, earlier, we looked at there wasn't much in there. So, okay. So let's actually do one thing. It's actually just out of interest. Have a look at the client again. How can we make this pretty? Well, we do have it in our DevTools, right? So we should actually have it as a part of the sources now. There it is. Okay, cool. So what we'll do, we'll just use Google DevTools to make it pretty. Now we copy all of it and we'll just load that into our bin. We'll put that into temp because we don't really never want to commit that. All right, so okay, so obviously it adds JPI to the window, blah blah blah, a bunch of magic. Okay, let's look for URL short. Okay, use URL something. Nope, nope. So what are we actually loading again? I forgot. URL shortener, right? Okay, but I mean we don't have the client yet. So let's look at the client. Not really sure. But you see, like here it loads the client. Oh, that's interesting. So it actually loads the client. Once it is. So we're loading this script in, which then runs, and then it will load the client. And it seems like, wow, okay, has a bunch of stuff on it. It seems like when we actually try to access it, it hasn't finished loading it because it's an asynchronous request. So we can actually look in the network if that actually happened yet. Okay, so we have that. We loaded the client. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll just not access the client. We just don't do that. And then we'll see if we see something in the network. So let's refresh. Okay, so well, let's like not pause on call exceptions. Okay, so what happened now? Paused on another exception. Oh, that's the injector. Okay, you know what? That's sometimes the live reload. Maybe it's a live reload. Let's look at the sectors actually. Window on load. I don't know what the inject thing is. It might be actually the load script thing, but just to be sure, we'll remove the live for now. And refresh. Okay, so now it should be fine. We didn't get an error, so let's look at the network tab. Okay, look at that. Okay, wow. Shares now. Check for video. So, post message relay. Okay, there's a bunch of stuff. So let's just not pause on exception for now to see what happens. Cannot read properly body of no. Okay, that's interesting. Where are we even? What is this? Chrome runtime send message. I have no. This must be some weird thing related to DevTools or something. Maybe some extension we're using. So you know what we'll do? We'll open this in a. We'll open this in an incognito window, so we can make sure that we don't have any weird extensions that are doing weird things. So. Cool. So let's make this small. Alright, so now we didn't see any error. And we see that callback. Okay, so we see that actually there was another request that was made, right? Actually 2 of them. That's interesting. So, does anyone have an idea what we should do? I have a hunch how we could solve this. But since you're all watching, throw it into the chat. Otherwise, I'll go with what I have. So basically, the problem is, so why does this work with the JS Fiddle, right? Well, the thing is that in the JS Fiddle, we're loading this. Let me just make sure I got the right DevTools. In the JS Fiddle, we're loading this like as part of the when we basically have a earlier, right? We have a page there that's loading first. We're not loading this with a script injector. So I think what's going on is that therefore it had time enough to fetch that client. So what we need to do is actually we need to wait for the client before we do this part. So when we have the URL loaded, we need to have something like wait for client, and then on client arrived, call it that, right? So on client arrived. Okay, so then we can actually go ahead and do that, right? So let's implement that wait for client. It's actually going to be pretty simple. What we'll do, we actually just check if the API, the client, we have to give it a callback. If the JPI client is not null, then we call back. Otherwise, we wait again. Wait for client, and let's just try it with 10. We could count how many times to figure out the best time out here, which will like depend on the connection anyway. So let's do 10 milliseconds for now. Some people might say, well, here you have you call back synchronously, right? Well, but the thing is that that's fine because we're not using this as the API. So the callback that you'll get from here on that callback, which will basically be API, will always be asynchronous. So I think it's fine to just call back here. So okay, so wait for client, on client arrive, blah blah blah. Then we load, and then we should hit our debugger. So let's try that. Don't put semicolons. Don't use semicolons. So what's going on here? Why is this complaining? Expected error to be handled. Oh, okay, let's do that real quick. Obviously, we will call back in the future. For now, we'll just log it. All right, cool. So that should be fine. Let's refresh. Callback is not a function. Okay, something happened here. Wait for client on client arrive. Why is that not a function? Does anyone want to know why? Because, well, we need to we're doing something dirty. for now, just to make it work. Let's see what happens now. Okay. Oh, okay, that took a while. So we are here in the debugger now. So apparently we were able to load the client. And this may take like a long time because I'm switching at the same time. So, okay, you can see that it basically called back here, and it came from our original call. By the way, like this is pretty cool here. I'm gonna make this bigger so you should see this. So basically, DevTools is now using async hooks to provide you async stack traces. In the browser, it's obviously not needing that, so that's only for Node. So it doesn't apply here, but you can see async stack trace is exactly what happened here, and we can see all the stuff that Google did with this client module to finally resolve the client. Okay, that's interesting. That's a little more complicated than I hoped it would be, but I mean that's what makes this interesting, right? We might not get to do too much testing if this keeps going like this, but okay. So let's see what the arguments are at this point. What do we actually get called back with? Nothing, seems like. Yeah, we have no arguments. So basically, when the thing got loaded, we get no arguments. So we just know that it got loaded. Okay, that's interesting. So make this small again. And so actually, let's open the JS fiddle in our anonymous tab, so we don't have too many browser windows going. All right. Okay, so they load and unloaded, then they basically, so now we get to right, so basically this is when I was confused for a second. So when the client is arrived, then we can actually load the client API for the URL shortener, and then we can keep going. So basically at this point, for this function here, we basically just need the GPI client, right? So that's cool. So let's move this code around a little bit, put the L on top, and so now this whole init function can, so basically when we have this loaded, that's when we actually can call back, right? So basically here we can give it the callback. All right, so, oh, you know what? I forgot that set timeout takes this, so we will be able to fix the bind later. Because set timeout actually takes a this context, so we can use that. Okay, so what's going on here? So now I'll put this on top. Why do I put it on top? Well, because every time someone asks for a shortened URL, we have to check if the client is there, and if it's not there, we have to init the GAPI, right? So basically, if GAPI is null or GAPI.client is null, then basically we will we'll have to load it first. So we GAPI, and basically what do we do? Then we actually do on, we call it on do, or we call it do shorten, right? Because we wanted to shorten anyways, but we just had to wait for a little bit. And then this one we'll wrap shorten, right? In here, okay. And but if it is there, right, then we can call do shorten immediately. So, and to make it a little nicer, so we'll put this on top. All right, and don't like too much that we have so many nested functions, but for now we'll just implement it to make it work. Okay, so do shorten is here, so then we access a client. Okay. All right, so see what, okay, so standard is complaining. It's never used, okay, that makes sense. So we don't need to call, so now we basically have unshortened. and we will be called back with an error or the result. Here, let's put a debugger statement in there. And so what we'll do now is we'll say shorten URL, and let's put, what should we put? That Voodoo thing was pretty cool. Oh. So let's find something that we can. I'm closing all kinds of windows without system. Let's open some cool page. Anyone? Okay, my phone went off. Anyone want to put a cool page here? Any page we should shorten? Okay. Well, let's do. Well, let's just shorten GitHub. How about that? So let's shorten github.com and unshortened. Let's see if that works. Alright, so now again we close the eval, which is I think what this thing. Alright, cool. Okay, we need to refresh. Shorten URL is not defined. Okay, we must spell that. By the way, if you see me making mistakes, guys, and gross, feel free to put that in the chat. Okay, GAPI is not defined. Where did that happen? Oh, okay. So does anyone know how to work around that? We'll have to use type of. So where is this? So you can ask if variables are null, but they have to be at least in the scope. What we have to do it of GPI. Let's just say undefined. Alright, should work now. Okay, it's a good sign that it's taking a while. I think that Twitch thing is, or maybe OBS is taking all my energy. Okay, so we are. Oh, okay. Unshortened. Nice. So let's see if we have an error. No error. Let's see what the response was. Okay, wow, it works. Okay, so we just basically have. It looks like your live code like Substack. Not sure of the context, Eric Pronopio, but if I mention the same sentence with code and Substack, that's always an honor. Anyway, so we got our shortened URL. It's pretty awesome. So now it's time to clean this up. I'm a little bit unhappy that this is always taking so long every time we want to test this. It seems like what's going on is that client.js is just an entry point to load a bunch of other API that you could. So in this case, we actually first need to load the client API, and then we load the URL shortener. And then finally we get our stuff. And since our network is a little slow due to OBS running and Twitch running, we're a little bit of a problem. But anyways, so first, before we change anything, we will commit something. No errors. Yeah, I'm just getting lucky today. Usually the demo gods are not on my side, and yeah, it's my first Twitch stream, so I expected a little more bad things happening, but no. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll just commit everything, and we're just going to say code initial working, and this is kind of a spike, right? The code's not cleaned up. Maybe I shouldn't have pushed yet. Okay, but I'm pushing. It's good I'm pushing, so you guys can actually open this in GitHub and look at the code. But you see why I kind of didn't want to push, because now it's taking a while. Okay, let me see if this is actually going with my CPU usage right. I mean, it's not that bad. It shouldn't freeze my computer. I have 4 CPUs or something like that. Okay, so we have a working version. So now the next thing we want to do, I'm actually going to open this wide. And we're going to write now a test for this. We already have a test file. And we're going to worry about how to run this. By the way, this snippet, that's part of my .file, so if you're interested in that, I have a bunch of snippets that make me a little faster, for instance, like this. For now, though, we won't even use tape yet. We'll just pull this code that we had. Okay, now it's gone. But we'll just basically try to use our module. That's the main idea. Shortener, or called URL. Okay. Require JP. Well, it's going to be above us, right? So basically what this means, if you put // this will go to the package.json, and then it will look for the main file, and then it will require whatever the main file is. So that's why I can do that. I could also have required directly, but actually I want to require it this way, so I make sure that I got this set up correctly, right? Because anyone using my library, if I don't have a main file field in my package.json, it will not really work. Okay, so, and then the shorten URL one, what's called like this, L equals gapi dot shorten URL. Made it up, okay. One thing we forgot, obviously, right? We need to export it. Exports dot shorten URL equals shorten URL. Okay. So so now we just exercise it from here. So actually, let's already start writing a test. Shortens github.com correctly. And the cool thing is that from what I've understood at this point, once you shortened a URL one time, Google will just keep reusing the same short URL for the same URL. So we can rely on that in our tests. We can make sure, well, we already shortened it, so whatever it will be, it will stay that way, so we can make an assertion. So what we'll do is we'll call shorten URL, we give it https github.com, and on shortened, or let's just say, we'll call it check, easier. So first of all, so we'll make the check function. First of all, the okay, somehow, because we don't have tape, because I'm actually using turn on the hood to give me, well, it should give me, let me save this file maybe. I can't remember if it was called if error or what it was called. Okay, so here we have our first mistake. So thanks, by the way, to Feroz for writing standard, even though I'm using my own modified version, but it makes it really easy to link your files. I have that basically hooked up with my Vim, so I see immediately when I make a mistake without even running anything, which is awesome. So, there you go. Now it's kicking in. And so basically we should not error, right? We have an error that's wrong. So now and that's for now good. And what we'll do, we'll just print for now the result, okay? Because we don't, I can't remember exactly what the URL actually was. So what's going on here? What's the complaint about? Okay, cool. So now what do we have to change? We have to add a test script in our package.json. We have to say, so let's add another one, test with Budo, right? We're going to test with Budo, and what we'll do actually, we're going to run Budo test. And that's a kind of cool way to get started with just running our tests in the browser. So let's do that. What do I call it now? I already forgot. npm run test Budo. Okay. So now it should spin up that server. Now if you go here, okay. Whoa, what's going on here? Woohoo, something did definitely not go right. Let's just refresh it. Okay, so we can see it went to API Google. Okay, now it works. So what I don't understand is, what in the world's going on here? Why do we get so many callbacks? Something Oh my god, we have a bug or something like that, I would think. So let's kill this for now. Let's kill this. We're gonna clean up a little bit. Okay. So let's actually clear this browser too. So somehow we have a bug. Why is this happening so often? So we shortened the URL once, right? So we call shortener URL once. And then we say if it's undefined, so init gapi, and then call do shorten. Otherwise, to shorten immediately. Okay. Now init API, we say load the script. When it's loaded, okay. So first of all, what we'll do here, we just actually call back with the error if there's an error, because I think something might be happening here. So then we'll return. So we wait for client to arrive. And the client arrived. Could it be that the client load function is calling us multiple times? That would be dirty. So, okay. So what we'll do instead, we'll put a on client loaded function there. And we on client loaded. And what we'll do is we'll put a little called back in here. And so what we'll do is we call back. If not, if we didn't call back before, and I might be on the total wrong track, by the way, too. So actually, we have to. Okay, I might be on the total wrong track. There might be something totally different going on. We didn't see this before, which is weird. Yeah, but we always stop in the debugger. You know what? Actually, just let it run. Okay, white space removed. Okay, cool. So let's undo again. And okay. Oh, there you go. See that? That is just crazy. What is going on? It's calling us. Wow. So that is interesting. It might be because we're calling. We may be getting called back here multiple times. We have another bug. So on client arrived, right? And then also what I want to make sure is we wait for client. Ah! Okay, does anyone see the bug? Say it now, on this line. What are we missing? Okay, maybe I lost you guys. Okay, no one's saying anything, but we missed a return here. So basically what happened, like we called back and then we set the timeout anyways. So that's why we came in here multiple times. So in this case, not Google's fault. Usually that's the role of everyday programming. Every time you think it's someone else's fault, it's usually your fault. So we are doing okay. So that's what we'll do. So yeah, Conopio, no errors. Kind of violated that at this point. So now we should be fine. So we load this. Let's wait a little bit. Okay, awesome. Yeah, so it wasn't a tape. It was just my own error. Okay, so now we have a function test, right? That's pretty awesome. So what we'll do before we'll, so we have a way now to test our things. So I'm going to copy out this URL, and since I said this should always be the same one, let's actually verify that. So I'm going to say this should always be t.equal the response should always be this one. Should be this one. We're saying that returns the shortened URL. Okay, cool. So, and we see it got the same one, right? So now we can run the test again. The cool thing is now we can run the test in the background a little bit, just refresh. And now we can actually already start hacking. Obviously, this is not automated testing yet, right? But at least now we have something created that, so we don't even need any of this stuff anymore. I'm going to put those in the kudos section now, because you should always attribute who helped you out, right? So kudos found. Okay, so found initial client side usage okay, and well, we kind of have documented in our code that we're using the library. Okay, cool. So right now we have a shortener URL. So there's still some problems here that I'm aware. So first of all, if we shorten the URL twice without waiting, what will happen? Well, what it will do, it will init the GAPI, and it will try to do that twice. So that's a problem, right? So what we need to do is we need to make sure that we don't load the script twice. And we also need to make sure that we wait for the client, but we don't load this twice. So we need to protect this a little bit with some stuff. So the thing is, though, that I'm not sure how we would even test how often things were loaded. So we will just have to put some console statements in there for now and make sure we don't make a mistake. So that's not the tricky part. So what we did so far was more like the easy part. So actually, let me quit this one and make this go over here so we can keep running this over here. So the thing is that let's first try if you just load the script twice. So let's actually just experiment in a different file for now. So we take any URL and we just keep loading it. So I'm going into my little pad thing. We still need the script. Because the thing is, like, to test this all like at once is going to be too much. So we just give it any URL. Let's give it a faster one. Oh, it's not too big. So let's just actually use that URL. Okay, so, and what we're going to do is we're going to put debugger here, but what we'll do is we load, no, actually what we're going to do, we just load it again. And what I want to see is if the load script thing is smart enough to not load the same script twice. Unload it again. And here we put the debugger, and then we can check our, okay, it's called unload again, that's fine. This is just, we're gonna throw this code away. So now what we'll have to do is run our bootto. So let's actually just put a little script in the package.json that says, we're gonna run out, we want to spike with bootto, right? So bootto, and our file is in temp pad.js. Okay, so now Buddha will load this instead. Okay, cool. It's always running on the same port, which is kind of nice. So we hit our debugger. So it just loaded twice. We only got one request, which is a good sign. So let's look at the head. But we see here that it was loaded twice. Okay, so that's not too great. So I mean, it got added to the head twice, but somehow I think Chrome was smart enough to figure out that, oh, we already have that. I wonder what happened to the music. So okay, and now I can find my window. Or maybe it got killed. Because that is my chat window. Okay, let's just open a new window. Okay, so apparently, let's any suggestions? Let's do some jazz. Okay. Make sure we're still running. Yep. Okay, so what we're going to have to figure out, how do we detect that a script was loaded before? No, but these are all going to tell us, like, you know, to load a script and how to load it. Script is in head, maybe. Check if JavaScript exists on page. Okay, so that's kind of more what we want. Scripts. Okay, so we could steal this. Still don't hear any music, so I apologize for that. It's very quiet. Put one that's maybe a little louder, so I can make it a little louder. All right, cool. So what we'll do, we'll kind of make sure that we don't load twice this way. So is client script loaded, and so we're getting the elements by tag name script, but the thing is, it gets loaded to the head, right? So we don't necessarily have to. So let's do document dot head. Can we get the head? Okay, so there you go. All right, cool. So that's what we want actually. So head. Okay, wow. So this is crazy stuff and confusing. So never just take. I mean, get inspired by Stack Overflow and use code from there, but read through it, make sure it's fine. So if script from SQL, return true, otherwise return false. Okay, so how do we make sure that this actually works? Right, we're just going to paste this in the browser. So and see if it works. So Stack Overflow should have some scripts loaded, right? All right, cool. Look at that. We have all these scripts. And okay, cool. And then it says script.source. Script.source. Is it all right, cool. So yeah, we can see that's exactly the URL that we need to compare to, right? Okay, cool. So, and what's wrong here, right? Thanks to standard again, we know that we should use a triple equals. And so what we do here, load script, if not is client why am I doing it this way? You might ask, like, why don't I just keep state of let's do it this way. Why don't I just keep state, right? Why don't I just set a flag? Well, because we might be, someone might be using this library in 2 different places, and it might be loaded twice, right? And so then the variables that are in this module wouldn't be visible in the other instance of that module. So therefore, we have to do it this way. So, okay, so load script. So basically what we can do is, okay, so basically you see what's going on here, right? We want the script. Are we actually using the script? We are not really using the script. Okay, otherwise we would have to get it. Actually, now I'm just getting it out. Fortunately, I have this cool little extension. Alright. So, now what we can just do is we can just, and again you will scream, oh wow, you're doing, you know, async versus sync and all this stuff. Well, this is not part of the UI, of the API, so we should be fine. So now we're checking that, no, that's what we want to do. We don't have an error. Okay, so now we should actually be fine. And let's load this again. Alright. So what we want to look at, we want to just refresh this, and then we want to look at the elements to see the script is not there twice. It's just not clean. Okay, so we have, okay, well, fine. You have to have a little more patience. But now we know that it should have been loaded if it would load it twice. And it is still there. Okay. So that is tricky. Why? Okay, so let's debug this a little bit. So, oh yeah, what are we doing? Like, we're still running the other module, right? You're still running Budo. So we need to actually run Budo test. What do I call it? Oh, it's probably still up there. Okay, there you go. npm run test Budo. Now we are actually running our tests. And when our tests are finished, right, then obviously, okay, well, that doesn't prove anything, right, because our test only loads at once. So what we'll do is we run, let's run it twice in a row. Or let's run 2 tests. We'll just run 2 tests. Let's find another URL. So I like this music thing, right? So let's just like put that there. Shorten that. So let's put the URL first, so I don't. This is from my clipboard. Okay, loads FMA correctly. Okay, so let's put it jazz, right? So jazz one. So we're running out of time. I will just finish making sure that this works, and then I will continue on Wednesday in 2 days to clean this up, and we'll implement also the expander, so where I can give it a short URL and figure out what the long URL was, and we'll start adding tests. This took a little longer than I had hoped, but it's because we ran into some interesting issues. All right, cool. So now basically we should run 2 tests, and after those 2 tests, we should only have one. Okay. So let's look at the elements. The head. Oh, look at that, it actually removed. it seems like it removed it. Okay. So we'll do a quick check here. We'll do a dirty trick. So what we'll do, we kick this off like twice in a row. The things we can't really test for this anyways, at least not easily. So let's complete our test though, because we printed out the URL here. So we have a test. You're welcome, Cronopio. Make sure to join me again. Follow me. There should be something cool happening if you follow me, unless you already followed me. You could unfollow me and follow me again. So I prepared a little horsey coming up. I hope that'll work. Anyway, so we have two tests now. So what we're doing here is we are basically calling shorten URL twice in a row with the same callback. And so what we should do is if count is greater than 1, let's do plus count greater than 2. So what we're going to do, we're just going to say count, and this is really dirty right now, right? We're not going to check this in, obviously. So if count is 0, like if we saw more than twice, we call the debugger. And so if it wouldn't work, our little guard there, then we would see it as, okay, interesting. So we found a bug. So actually now we might be able to use this in a test. So why? Interesting. Okay. So, okay guys, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it to do here. So there are a few things. I'm going to put this actually on top of the here. We're going to do status. Okay. Implemented. Or let's just say basic shortener by implementation. So I'm going to put some to-dos here, and if I'm missing something, let me know. So first of all, we need to make sure ensure client.js doesn't get added to scripts twice, ideally with a test. And we have a failing test at this point, actually, right? So maybe we can do something there. Then also clean up, set timeout. We don't want to bind. Comma pass this instead. That's it. We can basically pass a context to the set timeout, which I will show on Wednesday. And then, well, add more tests and run them in that order. And then when we've done that, then we can go and add the what is it called? It's called the get API. Okay, one is insert, one is get. Okay, so we'll just call it add the short URL expander API. All right, cool. So that should be it for now. Again, Wednesday, same time, 6 p.m. till 7 p.m. I will stream the continuation of this. Kind of interesting that this took longer than I hoped, but that makes for more content for everyone watching. So follow me on Twitch, follow me on Twitter. So on Twitter, I am, as everywhere, I'm gonna post it. I'm TH Lawrence everywhere. That makes this very big. Huge font. There you go. That's me on Twitch, on Twitter, on GitHub. So follow me everywhere there. And I hope you enjoyed this first cast. Give me feedback too. I guess you can do that in the chat or on Twitter, so I can improve for the next time. And thank you very much. So I'll sign off now. Have a good one. Bye bye.